if I may, come to something that occurred while we had our sanctuary in Egham, because I'm joking about a little bit here, but I feel that this is something I want to share.
Gosh, Owen is on fire today.
Yeah, well, I'm sharing this, and if this may blow your mind, it certainly blew mine. One of our lovely healers was a girl called Jackie Adams. Now, she's not going to moan I've mentioned her because she's in spirit. She has, well, she probably would moan anyway, but how are you, Jackie? Right, so what happened was she said to me, Owen, I fear I've got cancer, breast cancer, for the 4th time. So I said to her, we will work hard to remove it. And we did, and we were successful.
Wow.
Now, she was very pleased. She never showed the enthusiasm that most people would have done, but there you are. And she told a friend who lived in France. She actually had a house in France, and there was a neighbor. And she told the neighbor, and the neighbor then told someone else who phoned me. And this was a guy called Michel. And I could hardly understand him. And it was nothing to do with the fact that it was his English was fine, but it was talking like this. So I established that what he was saying is he'd got cancer of the tongue. And cancer of the tongue is probably one of the worst. I don't know, but I believe it to be. Later I found out he'd had radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and nothing worked.
Oh, God. So after all that agony.
Yeah, so I asked my guys, because by then I was able to tune in, and I said, are you feeling you can do anything for Michel? Because I didn't want to commit. I didn't want to raise his hopes. And they said, yeah, we believe we can help. Well, I said to Michel, will you ring me next week, in a week's time? So he rang me, and I could understand him a bit more clearly. The lisp had gone, and he said, there's definite improvement. I'm going to cut to the quick here and say that after another 3 to 4 weeks, I can't exactly remember now, he pulled the cancer away, literally pulled it away. And he was well and fine and clear. No, physically, he pulled it away. He said, I pulled the flesh away and now I'm clear. Now, what happens then? He said, I'd love it if you were to come down and stay with us. And I thought, yes, well, you get invitations to things. And I said, yeah, okay. And I was thrilled to bits. I really was. Now, I know we're running a bit short of time, but I'm going to speed up a little bit on this. because then a card came through, an envelope with a card and a brochure in. And it was a chateau in France. And he invited me down. He said, come down, I'll get some friends in and come for a week. And if you want to show people healing or anything you want to do, be my guest.
Did you do it?
So I decided I would go. And off I went, because this chateau was his. And it was very small. It only had 27 bedrooms. And I was made so welcome. I met all his friends. We had wonderful meals at a great long table with a huge log fires. I mean, he wasn't a wealthy man, but they used to use this place largely to have weddings, which in France very often was over 2 or 3 days. And he used to do enough weddings to cover the costs. Anyway, if I go on from here and talk about the amazing things that happened during, well, there was some lovely healing, and it was a truly wonderful week. They made me so welcome. And I had driven down all the way because I wanted to bring some gifts for them. And what do you bring to these people? I didn't know them. I'd never met them, only on Skype. So I arrived and handed over these round boxes of sweets you buy in Tesco's at Christmas and Easter, all with chocolatey things. And I think they vanished within about an hour. Everybody liked those. And anyway, let's cut to the end of this week. And what happened then was we all sat down for a farewell dinner, and it was wonderful, and the wine was flowing and the brandy and so on. And at the end of the meal, Michelle, sorry, what are you saying? The point, the way we want to say this is that you didn't know anybody before, and even now you still know one or two after all these years ago. Right, thank you for adding that. But we wanted to say that Owen was not looking for any reward. You know, I was there as a guest. I had no expenses, so I was happy to work. So anyway, Michelle stood up and gave a nice little speech to all the people, and then firstly they handed me a box. It was like a long box. It was like a miniature coffin, and when I opened it, it was a bottle of brandy which is over 100 years old. Somebody else gave me a case of wine, and then Michelle produced this little box, or a biggish box, and in it were loads of miniature bottles of brandy, because when they had the weddings, they would put one by each guest, you see. So I had those. Thank God I went by car. So that went on. I'm just trying to think what else they gave me. And there was one other thing to say. They didn't ever say, Owen, don't come back again. In other words, they always said, come back again. Yeah, thank you for reminding me there. So moving on from here, we then came to a rather bizarre thing. I'm sure I've left something out here, but it doesn't matter. Michelle handed me back one of the tins that had the chocolates in. He said, I think you probably want to take this home with you. So I thought, that's a bit strange.
Giving you an empty tin?
And I picked it up and it was pretty light. So they said, go on, open it. So I opened it and it was full of euros. And they had passed it round, apparently. And when I counted it up later, when I was sober, 800 euros.
Oh.
Which covered all my costs, traveling down on the toll routes all the way down, and my overnight accommodation on the way down. Wonderful. And I still am in touch with one or two people that I met there. Sadly, Michelle passed 3 years later with a brain tumor, which we worked hard on, but we were unsuccessful.
Oh, what an
But I'm
amazing
still in touch.
story.
And I just mentioned one tiny thing that links with this. I got a phone call one day from a lady in France saying, I know on a roundabout route that you're doing healing, and I've got a friend here that I've been doing some interpreting for, who's been very ill with cancer, and she'd like some healing. So over Skype, I would meet up with them every week and do healing for her. And I said to her one day, how would you like it if I came over to Paris and gave you hands-on healing? So she got quite excited about that. So did I. So I arranged to go, but unfortunately she died before I could get there. But what happened was, I got a message from her within half an hour, within the day anyway, of her passing.
And
saying,
you knew she had gone
saying,
then?
when you come to Paris, come to Notre Dame and I'll give you both healing. So myself and my friend Inga, we went to Notre Dame, we sat there, and all of a sudden this amazing feelings came over her. And another message came through, said, I wanted to give you a reward. It's too late now, but this is something I can do for you. Whenever you need healing, just ask for me. Now, these are strange occurrences. And really, I mean, this is really bringing me up to date now. I worked at Harry Edwards Sanctuary all those years, and then moved on to work at Barnes Healing Church in southwest London. I still work there every Thursday morning, and I work at a lovely place in Uxbridge, which is not very far from where I live, on Thursday evenings, called the House of the Good Shepherd, and I work on healing there. Those are the main things that I wanted to talk about. I think there's something I'd like to kind of come to a conclusion in, because I feel we are pushing our luck a little bit with time. But I'd like to read now. This is if you can see what that says.
Yeah, I can see it's spiritual healing works. I can't
This is
tell what
in
date
a
it's.
national paper, the Sunday Express, on May the 20th, 2018. So that's just about 4 years ago. I'm not sure how much of this I'll read, but I'll read it quite speedily. Spiritual healing dramatically improves symptoms in long-standing illnesses, a study has found. The 2-year project, largest of its kind, is one of the first rigorous scientific studies to show this often maligned treatment improves health as claimed. It involved 200 patients with hard-to-treat gut problems, including irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, and colitis. Half were treated with conventional medicine only, and half with non-faith healing therapy, alongside their usual conventional treatment for the first 3 months. Then the group that had only received conventional medicine received a series of spiritual healing sessions. During the 6-month trial, the researchers measured patients' symptom, pain level, quality of life, and well-being, and concluded that adding spiritual healing to conventional care showed significant improvement that was sustained for 6 months. After that, I think the experiment was concluded. That always gives confidence when anybody has any doubt. And I want to say a general point now, if I may, about what it is that we are able to do as people who may wish to be healers, who already are healers. I'm one of many thousands in England. Or just to be able to help people who can't always help themselves. We are all here to help others first. That is how it should be. And as we travel, we constantly see people who are struggling along, their mobility is bad, they have difficulty even raising their heads. They walk along like this. I'm going to ask you all who are watching this, and I hope there are hundreds of thousands of you, to look out for people who look sad, unwell, struggling, and ask your guides, we all have them, to help those people, because that is what healing is all about. Unconditional love, intention that their conditions improve. And this is Spirit now saying all these words as they have been. If you want to study healing, there are many different organizations, but if you're in a hurry, and Owen will tell you that people sometimes come up to them and say, can I be a healer? Now, anybody who says that to me is a healer. Why would you think otherwise? So we point them in the direction of other organizations or various ones. But if you are anxious to get on with it, then a lot of people seem to go for Reiki these days. And I can honestly say that here, locally here, we have a very good Reiki school, and people seem to enjoy learning and enjoy working and sometimes enjoy the financial benefits from practice. Now, those are the things that I want to finish with, but there is one other thing. Oh, my throat's starting to go. When my throat starts to itch, it's because my chief Chinese guide, Li Huang, wants to join and say these words to you all. Sometimes in the country like England, we have strange weather patterns. At the moment in the south, we have a drought. And if we don't get rain soon, we're going to have what we call hosepipe bans. We want to tell any of you who are watching and listening that this is the forecast. No sign of heavy rain yet, but come the third week in June, it's going to be downpour after downpour after downpour. You heard it first this way. And we say keep watering, but after that point, you shouldn't have to keep watering. And that will be followed by a long, dry, hot spell. So you're going to have the best of both. Now, one thing we'd like to speak to you about, if we have a moment. We send to you all. It's though as Owen is preaching, but he's not. We're talking through him now. Working as a medium in different places and in a very busy schedule, we ask that each one of you be aware that you can receive healing through Owen's channels by simply emailing either himself or Carrie, however you work. Owen has no clue, nothing new there. So I know they're talking through me, but I can hear every word they're saying. Allow yourselves to relax and receive the healing. This is a way of being able to link in with us as we send you loving healing to make you feel good, to make you feel that life is truly worth living, and hopefully finding the love that you may still be seeking. Allow yourselves to hear this as witnesses. Owen is seeking love, and he believes it's just coming up very soon, as we've told him. If not, please don't all apply. But in the meantime, we always work on a light-hearted note and on a happy note. So if ever anything you want to ask, is that right, Carrie? You'll be able to put my email address up.
Oh, of course. And you said it beautifully. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Well, the words that are given to me now, and they are about to be spoken by the lady who has been in my life for many, 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 many years, who was my wife, Pam, who is my wife, Pam, in spirit for 9.5 years, and tells Owen it's all going to happen very soon, but she wants to bring these words through to you. Ask and you can receive. For those of you who feel that financially it's difficult to get by, don't forget to ask your guides to find a way of improving the income. Secondly, each area of healing comprises mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. But part of the work that we do here is counseling, spiritual counseling. Bear in mind this, that when we go to spirit, we have the opportunity to exercise our skills to help those back on earth. So the more people doing this, the better. So we will be there. Yes, we will be there to give you any thoughts and guidance. If you email and give your contact details, we'll help you in any way we can. We can also say this to you, that if you believe in what you've heard today, and I'm going to say that word again, if you believe, then you will receive the healing. When you accept, you will receive even more, because you're removing the barriers and giving us an opportunity to practice the other things we do, which is removing mental, emotional blocks in our lives, sometimes from previous lives. That is another service that we can provide. The areas that we work in are surgical, psychological, emotional, and many, many others. We have 9 teams working in spirit through Owen. Surgeon is the side, sorry, I'll say that again. The surgical side is now being increased to accommodate more people who can receive surgical help without having to go through the health service. So that is provided by us, and we're happy to help anyone if you feel we can do something for you. I feel that that covers the areas that we can do, but we want to give you this message as a broad scan. Whoever is doing this work as a healer now, always please ask your guides, your helpers, those who work with you, to first scan the bodies of the people so that you can pick up what is wrong, even if the person themselves doesn't know. That is something we are able to do, and we're very happy to help anyone. Please don't all come at once, but please know that this service is always offered free. We never charge for healing. We charge for our mediumship because that can take an hour and a half of work, and we ask for a sizable donation to help many other people. But healing is free. Donations are welcome so that again we can help people who can't cope with life at the moment, and there are rather more than these than we would like. In fact, we would never like that to be the way. Feel good is what you get when you do this work, and you can even love yourselves. You can allow yourselves to love yourselves, for life can be changing at any time because there's so much love available to you from the wonderful world of spirit side. And that's where I conclude my little bit for today.
Amen to that. Thank
Thank
you, Owen, Pam, and loving spiritual guides for joining us today. Thank you, everyone. I have left Owen's email address in the description box down below. If anyone feels called to message him or wants to reach out to him for healing, you're more than welcome. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you, everybody. And
Bye-bye.
may God bless you, whoever you believe your gods to be. May they bring a shower of blessings upon you forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.